2 Corinthians chapter 1. Shaul, an emissary of Yeshua Messiah, by the desire of Elohim, and Timotheus the brother to the assembly of Elohim that is at Corinth, with all set apart ones who are in all Achaia. Favor to you, and peace from Elohim, our Father, and the Master Yeshua Messiah. Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our Master Yeshua Messiah, the Father of compassion and Elohim of all comfort, who is comforting us in our pressure, enabling us to comfort those who are in every pressure, through the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by Elohim. Because as the sufferings of Messiah overflow in us, so our comfort also overflows through Messiah. And if we suffer pressure, it is for your comfort and deliverance, being worked out in enduring the same suffering which we also suffer. If we are comforted, it is for your comfort and deliverance. And our expectation for you is steadfast, because we know that as you are sharing in the sufferings, so also in the comfort. For we do not wish you to be ignorant, brothers, of your pressure which came to us in Asia, that we were weighed down exceedingly beyond ability, so that we despaired even of life. Indeed, we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in Elohim, who raises the dead, who rescued us from so great a death, and does rescue, in whom we trust that he shall still rescue us. You also helping together in prayer for us, that thanks shall be given by many on our behalf for the favor bestowed upon us through many. For our boasting is this, the witness of our conscience, that we behaved ourselves in the world in simplicity and sincerity of Elohim, not in fleshly wisdom, but in the favor of Elohim, and much more toward you. For we are not writing any other matters to you than what you read or understand. Now I trust you shall understand even to the end, as also you have understood us in part, that we are your boast, as you also are ours, in the day of the Master Yeshua. And relying on this, I intended to come to you before, that you might twice receive a favor, and to pass your way into Macedonia, and again from Macedonia come to you, and to be sent by you on my way to Yehuda. Since I intended this, did I do it lightly? Or what I plan? Do I plan according to the flesh, that with me there should be yes, yes, and no, no? But Elohim is trustworthy, that our word to you was not yes and no. For the Son of Elohim, Yeshua Messiah, who was proclaimed among you by us, by me, Silas, and Timotheus, was not yes and no, but in him was yes. For as many promises as are of Elohim, in him they are yes, and in him amen, to the esteem of Elohim through us. But he who establishes us with you in Messiah, and has anointed us, is Elohim, who also sealed us and gave the Spirit in our hearts as a pledge. And I call Elohim as witness against my being, that to spare you I came no more to Corinth. Not that we rule over your belief, but we are fellow workers of your joy, for you stand by belief. Chapter 2. And I decided this within myself, not to come to you again in sadness. For if I make you sad, then who is he who makes me glad, but the one who is made sad by me? And I wrote to you as I did, so that having come I might not have sadness over those from whom I should have joy, trusting in you all, that my joy is that of you all. For out of much pressure and distress of heart I wrote to you with many tears, not that you should be sad, but that you might know the love which I also richly have for you. But if anyone has caused sadness, he has not made me sad, but in some degree you all, not to be too harsh. For such a one, this punishment by the many is sufficient, so that on the contrary you should rather forgive and comfort, lest somehow such a one be swallowed up with too much sadness. So I appeal to you to confirm your love to him. Besides, I wrote for this purpose also, that I might know the proof of you, if you are obedient in all matters, and whom you forgive any matter, I do also. For indeed, if I have forgiven any matter, I have forgiven that one for your sakes in the sight of Messiah, lest Satan should take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his thoughts. And when I came to Troas for the good news of Messiah, and a door was opened to me by the Master, I had no rest in my spirit, because I did not find Titus my brother. But taking my leave of them, I went on to Macedonia. But thanks be to Elohim, who always leads us on to overcome in Messiah, and manifests through us the fragrance of his knowledge in every place. Because we are to Elohim the fragrance of Messiah, among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. To the one we are the smell of death to death, and to the other the fragrance of life to life. And who is competent for these? For we are not, as so many, adulterating the word of Elohim for gain, but as of sincerity. But as from Elohim, in the sight of Elohim, we speak in Messiah. Chapter 3. Are we to begin to recommend ourselves again? Or do we need as some letters of recommendation to you or from you? You are our letter, having been written in our hearts, known and read by all men, making it obvious that you are a letter of Messiah, served by us, written not with ink, but by the Spirit of the living Elohim, not on tablets of stone, but on fleshly tablets of the heart. And such trust we have toward Elohim through the Messiah. Not that we are competent in ourselves to reckon any matter as from ourselves, but our competence is from Elohim, who also made us competent as servants of a renewed covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. But if the administering of death in letters engraved on stones was esteemed, so that the children of Israel were unable to look steadily at the face of Moshe, because of the esteem of his face which was passing away, how much more esteemed shall the administering of the Spirit not be? For if the administering of condemnation had esteem, the administering of righteousness exceeds much more in esteem. For indeed, what was made esteemed had no esteem in this respect, in view of the esteem that excels. For if that which is passing away was esteemed, much more that which remains in esteem. Having then such expectation, we use much boldness of speech, and not like Moshe, who put a veil over his face, so that the children of Israel should not look steadily at the end of what was passing away, but their minds were hardened. For to this day, when the old covenant is being read, that same veil remains not lifted, because in Messiah it is taken away. But to this day, when Moshe is being read, a veil lies on their heart. And when one turns to the Master, the veil is taken away. Now Yahweh is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of Yahweh is, there is freedom. And we all, as with unveiled face, we see, as in a mirror, the esteem of Yahweh, are being transformed in the same likeness from esteem to esteem, as from Yahweh the Spirit. Chapter 4. Therefore, having this service, even as we received compassion, we do not lose heart, but have renounced the secret ways of shame, not walking in craftiness, nor falsifying the word of Elohim, but by the manifestation of the truth, recommending ourselves to every human conscience in the sight of Elohim. And indeed, if our good news has been veiled, it has been veiled in those who are perishing, in whom the mighty one of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that the enlightening of the good news of the esteem of Messiah, who is the likeness of Elohim, does not shine on them. For we do not proclaim ourselves, but Messiah Yeshua the Master, and ourselves your servants for the sake of Yeshua. For Elohim, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," is the one who has shone in our hearts for the enlightening of the knowledge of the esteem of Elohim in the face of Yeshua Messiah. And we have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the excellence of the power might be of Elohim and not of us, being hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, being perplexed, but not in despair, being persecuted, but not forsaken, being thrown down, but not destroyed, always bearing about in the body the dying of the Master Yeshua, that the life of Yeshua might also be manifest in our body. For we the living are always delivered to death for the sake of Yeshua, that the life of Yeshua might also be manifested in our mortal flesh, so that death indeed is working in us, but the life in you. But having the same spirit of belief, according to what has been written, I believed, therefore I spoke. We also believe, therefore we also speak, knowing that he who raised up the Master Yeshua shall also raise us up through Yeshua, and shall present us with you. For all this is for your sake, so that favor, having spread through the many, would cause thanksgiving to overflow unto the esteem of Elohim. Therefore we do not lose heart, but even if our outward man is perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day. For this slight momentary pressure is working for us a far more exceeding and everlasting weight of esteem. We are not looking on what is seen, but on what is not seen. For what is seen passes away, but what is not seen is everlasting. Chapter 5. For we know that if the tent of our earthly house is destroyed, we have a building from Elohim, a house not made with hands, everlasting in the heavens. For indeed in this we groan, longing to put on our dwelling, which is from heaven, so that having put it on, we shall not be found naked. For indeed we who are in this tent groan, being burdened, not because we wish to put it off, but to put on the other, so that what is to die might be swallowed up by life. Now he who has prepared us for this same purpose is Elohim, who has given us the Spirit as a pledge of what is to come. Therefore, being always of good courage, and knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Master, for we walk by belief, not by sight. We are of good courage and are well pleased, rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Master. So we also make it our aim to be well-pleasing to him, whether being at home or being away from home. For we all have to appear before the judgment seat of Messiah, in order for each one to receive according to what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. Knowing therefore the fear of Yahweh we persuaded men, but we have been made manifest to Elohim. And I also trust in your consciences to have been manifested. For we do not again commend ourselves to you, but give you an occasion to boast on our behalf, in order that you have an answer for those who take pride in appearance and not in heart. For whether we are beside ourselves, it was for Elohim, or whether we are of sound mind, it is for you. For the love of Messiah compels us, having judged this, that if one died for all, then all died. And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised. So from now onwards we know no one according to the flesh. And if we have known Messiah according to the flesh, yet now we no longer know him thus. Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah, he is a renewed creature. The old matters have passed away. See, all matters have become renewed. And all matters are from Elohim, who has restored us to favor with himself through Yeshua Messiah, and has given us the service of restoration to favor. That is, that Elohim was in Messiah, restoring the world to favor unto himself, not reckoning their trespasses to them, and has committed to us the word of restoration to favor. Therefore we are envoys on behalf of Messiah, as though Elohim were pleading through us. We beg on behalf of Messiah, be restored to favor with Elohim, for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of Elohim. Shalom.